Hey, what's up guys? I'm Bryce and I'm back for CWW. Today we're doing another deck profile, and it's going to be the Black Wings. This is a really good deck. If you are just starting out, you can get the cards so cheap. I got this when I was like maybe 12 or even this year. And what you can do is, you can, like I said, they're very cheap, so you can just get the cards very easily, and then people are like, hey, you're gonna lose, this deck sucks, and then 3 turns later, I just completely take them down. So, as usual, we'll start off with the monsters. Let me make sure my camera is zooming in. Blackwing, Shura, the Blue Flame. You're gonna play 3 copies of him. He is the only card in this entire deck that you play 3 copies of. Next up is Blackwing Decree, the Eel Wing. You're going to play 2 copies of him. Some people will say 3. I say the right number for this card is 2, although it is one of your best cards in your deck. Is Blackwing Bora the Spear. And you play 2 copies of him, as I said. Next off, very good card, because in this deck you're mostly going to focus on attacking, and this card will just completely stop spell and trap cards. So it's very good for helping you out. And his name is, make sure I can zoom in, Blackwing Chris the Crack of Dawn. You're going to play 2 copies of him. Next up is Blackwing Kaiut the Moon Shadow, and you play 2 copies of him as well. I should probably tell you, most of the Blackwings in this deck you play 2 copies of, some 3, which was only 1, and then some just 1. Next up is Blackwing Pika the Whacking Moon, I believe. Yeah, Moon. And you're gonna play 2 copies of him. Next up, really good card, one of the main tuners in this deck. This is Blackwing Yugioh the Whirlwind, and you play 2 copies of him. Last 2 copy card in the monsters, that's Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Some people will say play 3 copies of him. I'm like, no, you need to stick with 2 because his ability is good, but you also can't special summon him. As you can see, it says right there in his ability, this card cannot be special summoned. When this card is normal summon, however, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower Blackwing monster from your graveyard and face up defense position. So you play 2 copies of him as well. Next up, you play 1 copy Blackwing Elephant the Raven. Good card. Next up, 1 copy of Blackwing Soraka the Dawn. And then our final card, some people will say 2 or 3. I say just 1 because you can only use his tuner skill when he's in the graveyard, and this is Blackwing Weya the Elebon of Horn. That's all for the monsters. Now moving on to the, see, I think these, well, that's traps, which means this is the spell card. Oh, that's the extra deck. My bad. Alright. First off, you're going to start by playing 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, because as I said, this deck focuses on attacking, so you need some cards to take care of spell and trap cards. So, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons, 2 copies of Lucky Iron Axe to increase their attack if you can't Secret Summon. This is really good because the deck brings out more than 1 copy of each other. Not copy, I mean like more than 1. So, say you have 1 monster, you activate skill, you bring out like 4 others, and that's why you play 2 copies of Double Defender, because when you have 2 or more monsters out, if an opponent tries to attack one, you just defend if you have 2 or more. So, really good. Next up, Pot of Aquarius. Wait, that's disturbing a little. Next up, 1 Dark Manable, Dark Eruption, and Swallow's Nest. Some people say 2, but 1 is the number to go. Like I said, all these cards very cheap, and that's why this is such a good deck for beginners, because you can just get it so cheap. Next up for the traps, you're going to play 2 copies of Mirror Force. Breakthrough Skill. This is very good with effect monsters to help your guys get on the attack. Sorry about that rip there. There's a one that isn't ripped, and the complete name is Kunai with Chain. 2 copies of that. Next up, 1 copy of Magical Arm Shield. Icarus Attack. Some people will say 2, but 1's good because then you have room for this card. Miramel. No, Miramel. I'm sorry, not Maul. I'm so sorry about that. Basically, if you have a strong monster out, but your opponent summons one with like 100 or 50 health higher, you can play this card and they become equal. So, and then our last card, 1 copy of Light Force Sword. This helps you if you get a bad hand, but you usually don't. That's why you only play 1 copy. Next up, which is our last little bit, is the extra deck. Oh, card just fell down right there. And it is Assault Blackwing Raycon, the Rain Shower. This is my favorite card. You do not play 2 copies, however, because it's good to just stick with 1, but this is the best card for synchro summoning. I'm just gonna put him down there for a second so you get a good full look at him. And his name is Blackwing Armor Master. One of the best cards, well, like the best synchro card you have in here. Here's why you don't play 2, because you then take out 1 to play this Blackwing Armor Wing. Another really awesome card. Assault Blackwing Kuron, the Rain Sprinklers. This is not a Blackwing, but it's just good to have in the deck. It's Guard Warrior, because if your opponent attacks him, even though you take damage, he'll survive no matter what. Next up is Blackwing Nothing, the Starlight. Next up is Blackwing Tamaka Asadin Hawkjaw Joe. Kind of sounds like a G.I. Joe character to me. And our last card is Assault Blackwing Soraka, the Rainstorm. So as you can see, there are a lot of good cards, but as I said, it is so cheap to get this deck. Even if you just start off by buying 3 copies of every card randomly at $1, it is so cheap. Because usually they'll sell them in lots. Like, I got all these monsters and most of the spell and trap cards I got most of all this from a dude at a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. He sold to me for like 20 bucks. I'm like, dude, you know these cards are like $8 each. And he's like, yeah, but I don't care. And he even bought me the sleeves and the deck box, which I don't have with me in this video. But yeah, it's so cheap, and you can just completely screw with your opponent with this deck. Thank you guys for watching. This is Bryce for CWW, signing out.